In this week's Blizzplanet Weekly, Mr. Pandaria will see no additional 5-person dungeons, Major League Gaming in Dallas is this weekend, Diablo 3 developers are moving away from the auction house, and what are all the facts surrounding that new game Blizzard is revealing at PAX East. Hey guys, welcome to the newest episode of Blizzplanet Weekly. As always, I'm your host, Chris Arnone. Oh yeah, the beard looking fantastic as always. And of course, Heart of the Swarm just launched, so oh yeah, rocking the Starcraft this week. Do want to throw out some props real quick to our new graphic designer, Hano Brand. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He's been doing a lot of the recent images and graphics on the show these last couple weeks. He's been doing a great job with that. If you notice, things looking a little cooler, a little better. All right, let's talk World of Warcraft.
Here's the beef.
So, now that patch 5.2 has been out for a little over a week, we're starting to see some hotfixes roll in. Check it out. The biggest changes have been some class abilities for priests, warlocks, and mages, taking a bit of a large nerf to some of their abilities, such as decreasing damage done by as much as 25% for those abilities. And while some players have been up in arms about how these are handicapping their classes, Ghostcrawler made the comment last night on an interview with a podcast called Twizzcast that in reality, those abilities might be doing 5 to 10% of their overall damage. So the 25% isn't cutting someone's damage by a quarter, this is actually a fraction of a fraction we're talking about. Other big changes came to some of the boss fights in the Throne of Thunder. Mainly, Horadon's ads have had their health decreased in order to help DPS get them down in time, and the Zandalari Council has had their health decreased to what it should be. The higher health we saw when it was released was just a bug. Let's talk the Throne of Thunder schedule. Now we know several of you have been enjoying the new raids that came out in patch 5.2. And JR, that's Eldorian, he's decided maybe after my recent rantings to start using his real name, alright? JR, his guild has currently been trying to take out the second boss in normal. Now for those of you without guilds and looking for raid, you will have noticed that the first wing has opened up this week for the first 3 bosses. The second wing is going to open up March 19th, my brother's birthday. Happy birthday, Paul, in advance, all right? And the third wing on April 2nd. And the final wing will be April 9th. Now, to enter LFR for Throne of Thunder, you will need at least a 480 item level. Now, in a recent interview, lead quest designer Dave Kosak had with Gamebreaker TV, he stated that Blizzard has no plans to release more 5-person dungeons. Now, this was a bit out of context, and people started to go crazy and get all pissed off that they thought, oh, there's no more 5-person dungeons in WoW, period. No, what he really meant was they're not adding any more 5-person dungeons in Mr. Pandaria. All right? In the past, Blizzard has sort of released more and more of these later in the expansion to help players gear up for higher level raids. But with the introductions of things like LFR and scenarios, developers are feeling like they can use those to gear up, and they get a lot better story content from the scenarios as opposed to just dungeons. All right, it's enough with World of Warcraft. Let's talk Starcraft 2.
You want a piece of me, boy?
So as you all know, I'm sure Heart of the Swarm has officially launched this past weekend. Other than a few minor hiccups they had with the achievement system, it was really a smooth launch. It seems Blizzard learned their lesson from Diablo 3 release, while EA didn't figure out that same lesson with SimCity 5. Ooh. But we still don't have the numbers right now on how well the expansion sold. I'm sure it sold a crap ton, but so far the reviews that have come in from the outlets have been pretty damn good. So let's talk MLG is back. The MLG Winter Championship approaches this weekend and is the first premier tournament to feature Heart of the Swarm. The event begins Friday, March 15th at 3 p.m. 56 pro players will be competing for a $75,000 prize pool, along with being the first pro to bear the title as the first Heart of the Swarm champion in pro play. You can find out more on MajorLeagueGaming.com, as well as watch the coverage on Twitch.tv with casters such as Day9, Husky, DJ Wheat, and Total Biscuit.
Stay a while and listen.
So first off, Blizzard released a new patch, just a little one, 1.0.7a. So this ended up being just, like I said, a minor patch, a few bug fixes, mainly to do with auction house errors that players were seeing. But of course, this leads us to talk about patch 1.8, which I'm sure is coming. So what do we expect? Now, none of this is so far confirmed, but these are just the things that the developers have been talking about for patch 1.8. The first thing is an identify all option. So being able to identify all of your items in your inventory with one single click. Good Lord, please. Once you get past, about Act 2, pretty much everything needs to be identified, so come on. A way for players to multi-craft items with one click. Want 20 gems made? One click. That would also be nice. Increasing monster density in Acts 1, 2, and 4. Now, this is players that have been wanting for a while to make farming a bit less boring with only one really optimal route. And finally, improving co-op play and efficiency. They're wanting to make a big focus on co-op play and make that more optimal for players. Like I said, none of that's confirmed, none of that's guaranteed. These are just things that the Diablo 3 developers have been discussing for patch 1.8. Now, recently, developer Travis Day made a curious post on the Diablo 3 forums, the official forums. There was a thread from a player wondering why Blizzard won't allow unidentified items in the auction house. Now I'm going to read a direct quote here. He said, "The reason we don't really want to reinforce this is because we're trying to refocus the game away from the auction house in general, so we don't want to add more reasons for people to rely on it." Now, how about that? Now, we've been talking, a lot of players have been talking, some choice nicknames for Diablo 3, but Blizzard's pretty much kind of admitting that the auction house was a mistake in Diablo 3, or at least the way they implemented it. They made it just too big a part of the game. It's a major, major factor, and gets to the point where there's no point in farming for actual items. You're just farming for stuff to get gold, so you can go to the auction house and get what you really want. And so that's really problematic. So, we want to know what questions, though, you have at PAX East. Now, our own Miari will be at PAX East next week, and we have some interview opportunities. Now, the first one is about this new Blizzard game that's yet unannounced. Now, we will be getting to that more seriously in a minute. But if you have questions about that, please let us know in the comments so Miari can ask those. Now, the second interview is for Diablo 3 on consoles. It's already been announced, but of course they're going to have, an interview talking about how that's going to port over. So, still, if you have some questions about Diablo 3 on consoles, we want to hear about them. Personally, I want to know, are they looking at games like Gauntlet Legends or Dungeon Siege 3, some of these other semi-successful console versions of isometric RPGs for inspiration about what they've done well, what they haven't. So, Miari, take that one. But of course, we want more questions. So throw those down in the comments so Miari can take the best ones in her interview well armed. So that does it for Diablo 3. Now, okay. Blizzplanet bitch session. So it seems this week, JR has nothing for me to bitch about. Now, I've always got things I can bitch about, but nothing Blizzard related. So instead, we're going to speculate a little bit. Now, for the last couple weeks, we've been talking about this mysterious announcement that's coming at PAX East, all right? Some new game. And let's get a little deeper into that, because, next week, by the time we film, that will have already been announced. So let's talk about what that's going to be. Now, let's talk about what we know. Fact number one, Blizzard sent a press invite to show off something new. Fact number two, it is not an expansion or a sequel. All right, we know that. Fact number three, it is not the next-gen MMO codenamed Titan. Number four, they've said it's unlike anything else Blizzard currently has. And number five, Rob Pardo recently tweeted that it is a new game, specifically. So what do we know it's not? It's not Diablo 3 on consoles. Blizzard has already stated, yeah, that's not it. They already announced that. They're not going to talk anymore. Well, they're going to do interviews, but they're not announcing that as the new thing. Of course, since it's not an expansion or a sequel, it means they're not talking Legacy of the Void. They're not going to talk some new expansion of World of Warcraft, the expansion to Diablo 3, or Warcraft 4, or something like that. That's not what it's going to be. What it's probably not. Now, we're about 95% certain that it's not Blizzard All-Stars. Well, that was our initial thought. The fact that they keep saying this is a new game, all right, why would they be cryptic about something they actually have announced? We've actually gotten to play it back at BlizzCon in 2011. So they could have just easily said, hey, we're going to show off Blizzard All-Stars. But this is something new. Now also, the press invite is a little bit telling. Most WoW fan sites and MMORPG fan sites have been invited, but not sites like Team Liquid or esports-focused sites. That tells you a little something about what kind of game this is going to be. In fact, MMORPG.com has an interview scheduled for this game, just like Blizzplanet. Now, a little food for thought. Back in 2009, Blizzplanet reported on a job opening for a software engineer position at Blizzard on a new unannounced game unrelated to the next-gen MMO we now know codenamed Titan. Now, we were told this game was in development, was going to use the World of Warcraft engine, but they weren't completely committed to that. They said it could change. They could maybe use a new engine instead. Nothing more has been heard about this game since. But also, we go back to Blizzard saying it's unlike anything else they currently have. So that leads me to think that an actual MMO is unlikely. You know, that's sort of a counter to the whole thing of the kind of fan sites that have been invited. What are they trying to tell us? Really trying to throw us off? But this still leads us into a theory that maybe this is Warcraft related. Maybe not that it's set in World of Warcraft, but something developed by the WoW team. Another curious note. Project Blackstone was thought to be a side project for the release of Heart of the Swarm, but not everything on that website has been unlocked, and Heart of the Swarm's already released. Could this new game be something related to Project Blackstone, Starcraft universe? Or, you know, we originally were thinking Blackstone. That sounds like something out of Diablo. So my thought is maybe they go to some Zerg planet and they uncover the World Stone and all of a sudden Diablo is in the middle of it. That would be awesome, right? A little crossover action. All right, that's totally spitballing. I'm sure that's not going to happen. Another curious note, all right? Cameron Dayton is the author behind Project Blackstone, and this last week he tweeted he just got a new promotion to senior story developer at Blizzard. Curious, this happens right after a small little web project that isn't unlocked and shortly before a new game reveal coming up. Coincidence? I think not. Last cool, interesting note. A year or two ago, a mod was being made by a fan using the StarCraft 2 engine to make an MMO based on StarCraft. It was called World of StarCraft. But Blizzard shut it down. But soon after, they let it come back, but made him change the name to StarCraft Universe. Could this all possibly be related? Is it possible we could be seeing a StarCraft MMO being developed by the WoW team with the WoW engine? Really, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like we said, it's something unlike anything else they've done, so okay, well, that kind of sounds a lot like World of Warcraft. Plus, they could be cannibalizing their own numbers by creating another MMO in the same engine. Yeah, it might be a little too similar. Unlike the next-gen MMO, which who knows what that's actually going to be. But what if it's free to play? What if it's browser-based? What if it's mobile-based? That changes everything. And Blizzard has had a sizable mobile department they've been building up over the last several years, but we haven't seen a damn thing come out of that team. Almost nothing on the mobile front other than some interactivity with their current games, but no actual mobile games. And the fact that they use phrases in the invites like something we can't wait for you to get your hands on kind of screams this could be a mobile game. And of course, let's throw it out there because we all want to. What if it's related to StarCraft Ghost? Huh? Maybe Blizzard is making an FPS, though it's doubtful they would create that in the WoW engine. But, you know, anything is possible. And, you know, with this whole thing of PAX East possibly related to Project Blackstone, the WoW team developing, and with Nova being a major part of Heart of the Swarm, we wouldn't be surprised if maybe there's at least a little story crossover with Heart of the Swarm and the old, long-canceled StarCraft Ghost. So let's finish this up. What do we know it's not? It's not Titan. It's not Diablo 3 on consoles. It's not Warcraft 4 or any other sequel. What it's probably not? Blizzard All-Stars, some unannounced MMO, or StarCraft Ghost. What do we think it is? Something mobile, probably Warcraft related, or something dealing with Project Blackstone. Still probably a mobile game. And before everybody gets up in arms saying, oh, not a mobile game, that would suck. Reach into your pocket. You probably already own the console you would require to play this game for, what, $5, $6? Seriously, don't bitch. If it's cool, buy it, play it. It's a lot cheaper than buying expansions to Warcraft and Starcraft and all that. And if it's Blizzard, it should be pretty damn cool. All right. We want to know what you think, though. What do you think this new game is going to be? Like I said, throw that down in the comments, along with some questions you would like Miari to ask. And also keep an eye out, all right? We're going to be raising money real soon to send our crew to BlizzCon, all right? So keep your eyes out on our videos on BlizzPlanet.com. Of course, all the news, reviews, great community, everything you need to know about Blizzard Entertainment games, and some info on sending us to BlizzCon. You know you want us to cover it. The Beard has got to check out BlizzCon, so send us there. We'll see you guys next week.